Sketch one cycle of the graph using amplitude, period, and the 5 major points. We must identify the x-coordinate of each major point. Let's say we have y equals 2 cosine of x over 2. This could be seen as the form a times cosine bx. The a is going to represent your amplitude. So the amplitude is always positive, so we do the absolute value of a. And then the period will be whatever the period was of cosine, which is 2 pi, divided by whatever's in front of x, keeping that positive, so again, absolute value. So for this function, if I want to find the amplitude, I look in front of the cosine, which is a 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. If I want to find the period, I take the original period of cosine and divide that by whatever's in front of x. Now in front of x is 1 divided by 2, so it's actually a 1/2. Or we could rewrite this as multiplication of the reciprocal. So dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2, which gives us 4 pi. So one cycle is going to have a length of 4 pi. So I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to draw my x-axis. And then since we're starting at 0, I'll put the y-axis on the left side. Now the period is 4 pi, so I'll mark this out until 4 pi. So then the 5 major points are half, half, and half. So as you can see, every quarter that we move will be an x-coordinate. So a quarter of 4 pi is pi. So each of these will represent a pi. Okay, since the amplitude is 2, I need to mark out my 2's. Again, keep in mind that pi is about 3.14. So pi, that's about 3. So a little less than that is going to be my 2. Okay, so let's look at what the pattern is for cosine. So if I want to look at my y-coordinates, the pattern of cosine starts with a max, followed by an x-intercept, then a min, x-intercept, back to a max. So since the amplitude is 2, our max is going to be 2. X-intercepts are always 0. The min would then be -2, back to a max of 2. So at each of these x-coordinates, I'll mark out now the y-coordinate. So at 0, we're going to have 2. The next one would be a 0. Then -2, back to a 0, and then max out at 2.